Good morning, Facebook. We are back live with two favorite guys, Kevin Krantz, shop foreman for Mercedes-Benz, Larry Snyder, shop foreman with Audi. And before we came up here, we were talking about this article that came out a couple days ago, I guess, about questions you should ask a mechanic before they work on your car, which led us into a whole lot of other discussions, and we're going to share that with you. But asking about being certified, do you belong to associations? Can you provide references? Are you familiar with my car's make and model? All great questions, and we also decided we could check off everything on this questionnaire, that what you can ask your technician. It goes on. It's a pretty good article, but it led us into talking about career path for technicians.
Yep.
And how it's changed so much from years ago to technicians today. And with that, I'm going to let these guys talk about it because they're the ones that got into this career, and they can tell you about their career path and then tell you about the career path we have here at Tysinger. And it's not about being a grease monkey anymore. It's truly being a technician. So
Absolutely.
go ahead, guys.
You want to start?
All right. So certainly, deciding whether or not you want to work on cars, right? Almost everybody works on them at home, changes the oil, does minor maintenance, and you get familiar with it. You get your hands dirty. But in today's high-tech, new dealers, we're working on high-end, very sophisticated new vehicles that require a fair amount of training just to be able to do even the basics. For example, how would you like to change oil on a vehicle that doesn't have a dipstick?
Exactly.
Puts a little challenge in knowing whether or not you got the right amount of oil in the car. So, again, through training, cover most basic information, and of course, we're always building. And, do we stop training after 6 months or a year? Not even close. Mm-hmm. Working on my 39th year, and still learning new stuff every day. The technology advancement in the vehicles is staggering.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's staggering what the cars are capable of doing. Obviously, as a somebody who wanted to take this as a career path, there's a couple different ways that you can, I would say, get your foot in the door. I'm going to speak with Mercedes and their program. They have actually gone to high schools and started looking at, discussing, and potentially recruiting students at high school level. And the idea is if they show the interest, is to point them in the right direction. There are several, 1 and 2 year UTI and ATI automotive
2 year, most of them. Yep.
Programs that they will direct you to, and once you complete your, what I would say, basic formal training, you may be recruited to actually go to an in-depth program through the manufacturer, through Mercedes. And these programs run anywhere from 3 to 6 months. They are 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, lots of testing, lots of information, lots of hands-on, and gives you a real taste of what you will see at the dealership level. Now, obviously going to ATI, for example, I think they're $30,000 for the program.
Yeah.
Has become quite expensive. So it's not something that you will take lightly. But if you graduate from that program and are lucky enough to be recruited by the manufacturer into their specific training, there usually is not a fee attached to it, but your requirement, if you go through this training, is to work at a dealership for 6 to 12 months, depending on what's currently going on. They're always tweaking and changing these training classes to try to improve them, to give you the most amount of information to make you a valuable asset for a dealer. So whether you live in a big city or live, out in Hampton, Virginia, out off the beaten path. There are dealers everywhere, and we all are looking for new, trained, capable individuals that want to make, this career path a career. It's a tough job. You put the hours in and the time in, but if you like figuring out problems, certainly it can be quite challenging and therefore potentially quite rewarding. But everybody's driven a little differently. So there's plenty of need for express and basic maintenance technicians, which is our entry level. So, and that's where most people would come in at. Myself, just a little background. I started in 1982. I got my foot in the door at a dealer. I had graduated from high school and went to a community college that had an automotive program. And I got my 2-year associate's degree in automotive technology. And when I went to the dealer, they weren't really looking for anybody, but because he saw the value, the service manager saw the value in formal training, they pretty much hired me on the spot. So when you come interview with us, talk with us, training is a huge plus. Ideally, we're looking for someone who's trained, but if you have a good attitude, motivation, and want to learn, we have some training within the dealership itself. So, and again, if it's these programs through the manufacturer, if you decide that this is truly a career here, we can actually send you to some of these long-term training classes, but that's a case-by-case basis. Mm-hmm. But yes, if you're looking for a challenge, actual career, automotive industry certainly can provide that. So, how about from the Audi side?
Same basic idea. It's basically a nationwide problem or a situation where the people just aren't, the younger generation, they're just not getting into the trades. Plumbers, electricians, carpenters, technicians, automotive technicians.
All needed.
Electricians. They're just not. But because it's become such a shortage, the opportunities are pretty awesome. What I would definitely like to stress is the fact that it's a career choice. I would say that years ago, I started in this business in 1984. I went to work full-time in 84, but started way before that because my family was always in the business. So when I was 12 years old, I was rebuilding carburetors. That's really the truth. So by the time I was 18 years old, I was working full-time, and I've been doing it ever since. So for 37 years, that's what I've been doing. It's definitely challenging. It's definitely a career. At one point, you go back far enough, you could do it as a job. You go to work, change tires, change oil, it really wasn't that much to it. The average guy could do it, very little training. It was a job and something, you do it for a while, maybe you'll stick with it, maybe you won't. But the reality of it is that without dedicating yourself to the decision that this is going to be a career path, the amount of training that's required, Kevin and I were talking about it earlier today. I've talked to some younger individuals who have been in the business now for a year or so or two, and I hear them, voicing their opinion about the amount of training. It's like, man, it's every time you turn around, more and more training. The reality of it is this, just like Kevin, I went through a 2-year tech school. I grew up in the business to start with, so I had some background to start with, but I went through a 2-year tech school and graduated that. And then from there, I started training at the manufacturer's level. And I train all the time. I still train.
Every day.
I do training at home. You ask my wife, she'd be happy to tell you that 2 weekends a month, I'm doing training at home. There's no doubt about it. And I still do it, and I have to do it because things change so rapidly that even with my experience or Kevin with his experience, keeping up is not something, you can't take that lightly. You really have to put forth some serious effort because you will find yourself on the job not knowing what you're doing. if you're not keeping up with your training. So the situation is this, we really do need quality technicians. If you are already trained and you don't have Audi experience, but you have automotive background with training, then come see me. I will help you, and I will get you where you need to be, and I'll get you on the path of getting your training and getting what you need. But I'll get you acclimated, and I'll get you up and running. If you're coming out of tech school and you're a shining star, you really want to do this, you're a true car guy, or a gal, and you really want to do this and you want to go this path, we'll help you. Absolutely. We have no problem whatsoever. The only thing we're looking for is the initiative, the drive, quality people, quality employees, so that it's not, in all honesty, it's not a waste of our time. We really want to help grow, the younger generation and pass on whatever it is we can pass on. But I definitely want to stress that you need to think of it as a career choice. It's not just a job.
Definitely.
Training.
Yep. It never stops, unfortunately. Well, I guess there's different ways of looking at it. I remember my father telling me when I was a young man. He said, this may not be the highest paying career, and at that time, it didn't pay what it pays now. It didn't. My dad started in the 50s. But, and the pay scales now have gotten to the point where it's a well-paying job. If you're a highly certified technician, you're very capable, and you're a good employee, it pays quite well, actually. So that's really not so much of an issue. But I remember him telling me that, he said, son, if you become a top-notch mechanic at that time, you will never be without a job.
True.
And the truth of the matter is that, although I don't consider myself a mechanic necessarily, I consider myself an automotive technician at this point, I sure would hope. I've never been without a job. I've never filed for unemployment in 37 years. Never once. I don't even know how. Through the whole COVID experience, where a lot of people weren't getting paid and were home and wondering, where their next paycheck was coming from, I never missed a minute of work. I worked the entire time. I just never.
We were essential.
Yeah.
We were essential to keep everybody going.
I never stopped working.
Yeah.
We were backed up.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
think
absolutely.
we were almost 30 days
Yeah.
backlogged at one time. So there is definitely a demand, no question.
But as a career choice, so for example, you get to a point where you're, a master Mercedes technician or a master Audi technician or whatever level you achieve, and you for some reason need to relocate to Texas or Florida or California, wherever you need to relocate to for whatever reason, you will not have a problem finding a job. You will not. You will be able to go there, and you can pretty much bet, that you will find yourself a good job.
No question.
There's no question.
And a couple years here, and you move to the West Coast or from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a good technician is in high demand, and in most cases, probably will have a job offer at the interview.
Absolutely.
So.
I feel as though I could go anywhere at any time and be working within a week, no problem. No problem.
But you're not.
We're
We're not going to let that happen.
I'm not even going to comment on any of that. But the reality of it is a good career choice. People have asked me, for example, people that I worked with when I was younger who are no longer in the field. They've asked me, why do you still do this? Why are you doing this? I've had young guys ask me, boy, you've been doing this for a long time. Why are you still doing this? And the reality of it is that I do still find it challenging. I do find it interesting. I really do. And I've always been a car guy. It's just what I do.
It keeps you sharp, right? And if everything was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's once you've been in it a while, the technical end of it. If you enjoy high-tech toys, cars about as high-tech as the toys you can get out there.
Yep.
Some of the things that are on them, we've discussed some of it, right?
Yeah, we
Over
have.
the past few
We've
weeks.
touched on it, yeah.
If you stick with it, you'll have the opportunity to, touch some of this stuff, and
Electric cars, and everything's going to be electric. Everything,
can
everything.
be quite rewarding to deal with a difficult car, or you become the go-to guy to fix all the problems. So,
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's about it for today. Maybe in the coming episodes, we can take them out to the shop, show them some of this equipment that we use, and
Sure.
how it's not all about just oil changes and
No.
things like that we've been talking about in the past.
Yep.
Although very important.
Yeah, we can't do oil changes without laptops anymore.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
do it.
true. That's true.
Can't do
Gotta
it.
have a laptop. So that's what we've got for today. I hope everybody has a great day. Once again, questions, comments, please put them in, and we will get back to you, or come by and see us if you have questions about being a technician. Whether it be Mercedes or Audi, we'd be happy to.
Audi,
sit-
you know, of course, Audi.
Yeah.
That's what I'd
sit
pick.
down.
I'm just saying.
We'd be able to sit down and have a conversation. We'd love to walk you through it. Love to show you around. Until then, y'all have a great day. Bye.